interviews, top 10s, top 20s, album reviews, and more. Now here is your host, Eric.
Hell yeah, that's my groupies, man. You guys get a lot of like when you guys play live, is there like a big cheer, like like, as far as groupies, like I don't know, because in my day it was like groupies, but they don't call them that no more.
We have a big following of super loyal fans.
Nice.
Yeah, we got our own cult going.
The Nil Per Os cult. Well, everyone, I'm welcoming you to the stage. I guess the virtual stage. Nil Per Os. You guys formed in 2023. You're Sludge Metal, and Atlanta, Georgia. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
All the way across. I'm here in Portland, Oregon. You guys are all the way across the seven seas.
Oh
Yeah. Right. So who am I talking to? Let's let the audience know who do we got on the left there.
My name is Doll, and I'm the front woman, and I do some screaming and a little bit of singing.
Yep. And then who we got there?
I'm Juls. I'm on bass, so I'm the old 4-string.
Nice. And who we got?
And I'm
there?
Cody. I'm I guess lead and rhythm guitar.
The 6-string Axe Attack, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that your guitar in the background there? Is that the acoustic?
Yeah, that's my dad.
That's your dad. Yeah. Your dad's a musician. Yeah, that's how I found you guys. Your dad showed me, hey man, check out my son's band, and I checked it out. I was like, okay, yeah, these guys are cool, man. It's like so. Sludge metal, which is kind of a genre that's like not that old of a genre of music,
Yeah.
I mean,
late 90s, sort of.
Yeah, late 90s, and I kind of hear a little bit of a old school death metal in there at times, So
For sure.
Yeah.
A lot of death metal and sludge metal, arguably some groove metal influence, or big groove metal influence, and some flavor in our music as well. I would say we're all really into acid bath. So
okay.
I
was gonna ask you if that's one of your influences. That's kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, one of the top, dude. For sure.
Yeah, acid bats. And how did you guys come up with a name? Okay. Let me ask you this: when did you form? Because I know you guys are like just barely like kind of you're still in. I guess I wouldn't say diapers, but you're young, not young in age wise, but you are young in age wise. But I mean, as far as a band, like as far as music, I mean, most people like it takes them like 3 or 4 years to kind of start doing things, but you guys just formed in 2023, right?
Yeah, loosely. Formed as a whole, definitely 2023, but it was birthed as an idea probably back into 2020. It started and continues to thrive in my garage for the most part. It started there with me and a friend from high school as the drummer. And of course, since then we've been through like 7 different drummers.
Okay, yeah.
And like me on vocals and then them on strings has been very consistent since then. And 2023 is, I think, whenever we all linked up and then started. Yeah.
So you were kind of like the start of it, and then you brought these guys in because you're going through like all these different members. Is that? But you guys already knew each other and stuff, or?
We pretty much we had met at a show whenever I was playing bass for a shitty punk band.
Okay.
And
care to tell us who they were? No, I was kidding. No, I don't want to get you in trouble. Right.
And then him I met through a mutual friend that I know from middle school. So it was kind of wacky how it all came about.
What are you guys' ages? Like I said, you're fairly young. So, like, how old are you, Doll?
I'm about to turn 21 in less than 18 days. So.
Nice. What about you, Jules?
I'm 20.
20. And what about you, Cody?
I'm 22.
All right. Nice. Yeah. Get the whole world ahead of you.
Yeah.
You'll be burnt out and turned out in 5 years. I guarantee it. Just kidding.
No.
It happens to the best of us. I'm just kidding. No, not at all. I mean, that's what one thing I noticed about you guys when I saw the live footage is like, okay, here's a band that's young and everything like that. But it's the fact that you already have that stage presence. Sometimes it takes bands a little bit of time to develop that, like me with my band, when we first started in '84, and our influence was Motley Crue, Twisted Sister, Rat, all those bands. So, and I barely even knew how to play my instrument, but we played our first backyard party, and I was nervous. I'm shaking, but one of my idols was Jakey Lee from Ozzy Osbourne, and so I don't care how shitty I play guitar, I'm going to move around like Jakey Lee. Because that's at least going to distract the people that I suck on guitar, but at least they see that I'm moving around really cool, and that's all that matters.
That's half the battle. Is this?
Yeah. Whereas you guys are already good on your instruments, and you're doing the. But was it awkward at first? Like I guess when you how long have you actually been playing your instruments before you got to where you perform live?
I've been playing about probably 5 or 6 years before our first show.
Yeah. So you started really young on the bass, or you probably started on guitar too, or no?
I started on guitar, then I was with a band before this, but we didn't go anywhere. We just played in my friend's basement.
Okay.
But I got demoted to bass player, and the rest is history. Now here I am.
Yeah, I had to do guitar, bass at times because we went through a lot of members too. Like me and my drummer was like. It was just like people come in, they leave, come in, leave, and I'd always have to pick up the slack on whoever. But yeah, I always say like, well, is bass easier than guitar because it's less strings? It's like, no, it's actually harder because you gotta lock in with that drummer, and you gotta hold down the groove and stuff. It's like you can play it like a guitar, but it's not gonna sound.
Bass is easy to pick up, but it's extremely difficult to master.
Yeah, it's a whole nother beast, That's cool. What about you, Cody? When did you start playing?
I started on bass.
Okay, so we got a little vice versa there, huh?
Yeah, maybe a year or so, and I've been playing guitar at this point for maybe 4 or 5 years.
Okay, yeah. And then you played bass as well, and then when did you get into singing?
Well, I actually started with guitar.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah.
I started as a guitarist, and that was like since I was a kid, like 10 years old, and nothing too crazy. Technically, I was just kind of a campfire guitarist, as they say, but I love jamming out. And so then first time I played with a band was whenever I played bass. I love playing bass as well, but then I actually picked up vocals for Nil Per Os because I started with that one drummer from high school. I started as the guitarist, and so it was a 2-piece, and we were like, well, someone's got to do vocals, so I got into that, learned off of YouTube how to scream, and that sort of deal.
Yeah, I wish I had YouTube back in the day. I would have got better way quicker.
It's super helpful. It's awesome.
I used to teach guitar in a music store and stuff, but then I was thinking about giving lessons again, but I was like, well, everyone's just learning shit off YouTube, so like, why would they pay me $20 to learn something that they could just get off YouTube? Especially like you got these little 10-year-olds like playing better than me on YouTube.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm like, you damn kids, man.
I know.
Doing all those playing Steve Vai licks and shit. I'm like, fuck, I can't even get that in 10 years.
I know. I will say though that I started guitar with an instructor, and that changed I feel like the path of kind of everything. Because if I tried to learn just off of YouTube, I don't think I would have been self-motivated enough to. And also having someone you can just bounce questions off of. Having a just real person, and also a professional, and someone who has experience with it. It helps a lot.
Yeah, someone to tell you what you're doing wrong is helpful. When I got my guitar teacher, he was like, nothing you're doing is right, and I had a real instrument.
Yeah, he's trying to nail your fingers to the neck, like hold it right there. Did you guys so do you learn how to read music at all? Or are you playing by ear? Like, because I've always been an ear player by ear.
I'm a tabs kind of guy.
Or tabs is good.
But I can learn by ear if I really sit down and think about it. But all my riffs are I just follow a scale and go off of that.
Yeah.
It's all feel it comes down to.
Yeah.
I'm very similar in the way that I can do tabs and chords, whatever. I'm very much a feel player, though. I'm really into jamming way more than I'm into sitting down and learning a song.
Yeah, I'm like that too. I like to improvise. I like to just have it come out naturally, and I'll never play the same guitar solo twice. I mean, it just feels good to just be able to just jam on it and improvise.
For sure.
And to do that, you got to really love your music, and you got to be able to hear everything. and know where to go. Like sometimes they say, "Oh, do you need to learn music theory and all this stuff?" It's like I know basic theory, but it all goes out the door when you write a song, because otherwise you need to write from the heart. Because if you write just based on the theory, then you're just going to come out with a song that's nothing but like a math problem. It's going to be robotic and mechanical and all kinds of stuff. So what about as far as like when did you guys get that bug? Like, let's say maybe individually, obviously, what age were you when you felt like you saw something either on TV or you heard a band and you're like, that's what I want to do?
For me, it was what's the name of that game? It's like Guitar Hero, but you play with a real guitar.
Rocksmith.
Oh yeah.
Rocksmith.
Oh yeah, Rocksmith.
Yeah, Rocksmith. And I was like, yeah, I'll try it. Why not? Because I was playing Guitar Hero, and I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And then, I started playing, and I was like, oh, this is badass. And I was super adamant. I was like, I got to learn the Sweet Child of Mine riff. And then that's I got it. And that's what.
Nice. Yeah, I've heard of Rocksmith. What is it? Is that sort of like, so what it is? It's like is it a program or a software that?
Yeah, it's a video game. They got it on.
It's an actual video game. And it actually teaches you how to play guitar as opposed to like Guitar Hero, where it's more like a game.
Yeah, it's similar to Guitar Hero, but you plug your guitar right into the console.
You actually playing your guitar on it then, right?
Yeah, it'll show you the strings, and each string's a different color, and it'll give you the number.
Oh, okay.
On it. It's really, really helpful. It's pretty neat.
It's really cool.
Songs on there and everything.
It's very versatile for what level of guitar playing you're at as well. Because first play a song, it's like, okay, it's this first time this person's playing this song, so it'll start you with like one string at a time, one note per, whatever.
Yeah.
And as you keep getting those parts right, it'll progressively make it more difficult.
Nice.
Song after all that.
What I like about the colors that they use, especially on Guitar Hero, even though you're not really playing guitar, but it's like the fact that they use colors, because that's how when you listen to music, like me personally, the way I can figure out songs by ear is like I'm hearing colors and I'm seeing like reds and blues and greens that I can actually go on my guitar and say, okay, I know what they're playing and where they're playing it at, because I've already heard them, see it in my head, and colors is a big part of that. So I think that's where they got that, where they applied it to that game. And
right, no, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, not for someone like Cody though, who's colorblind. It's a little
colorblind. Oh, okay. So all your music's in black and white. What about you, Cody? Like, what was it that gave you that bug, or how old were you, and who inspired you?
It was probably 6 years ago. I just woke up. I was like, this is what I want to do. So on the Facebook Marketplace, I found an acoustic guitar for like $80.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I picked up some good stuff on there as well.
Went and picked it up, beat around on that for about a year. And then I actually I traded stocks to buy my first electric guitar. It was a Yamaha Pacifica.
Oh, nice.
Little Fender Frontman 10G. It was like that big.
Oh, nice.
And somehow I met her, and she was like, hey, you want to come out and jam?
Yeah.
I was like, sure. And I've never played with a band before, and
it just worked out.
Nothing really inspired me. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, he was it just naturally came about, which is good. I mean, the fact that you're doing it. Yeah, a little bit of advice for Facebook Marketplace: never invite the person to your house to sell you the thing, because I had a guy come over and he sold me the amp, and I could tell the dude was like on meth and shit, because being a drug addict, I know what that stuff is like and what you look like. So then I went to I did my transaction with him. I took the amp. He's looking around my apartment. I have a lot of guitars. As you can see, I got I got also records and stuff and a lot of collectibles. And I went to the store. I came back and he was trying to break into my house. He was like trying to do this with my door. And I go, dude, what the hell are you doing? He fucking took off and shit.
Damn, that's fucked up.
So now if I buy some off Facebook Marketplace, we're meeting somewhere.
I always tell him meet me at the police station. So
right.
Just walk right in.
Yeah, just in case it's stolen, right? They get this nab right there.
Exactly.
What about you, Doll? Who was it that inspired you, and how old were you?
So I can remember a very definitive period during like 4th grade when I was around 10 years old. And my dad, had given me one or two MP3 or two different kinds of MP3 players. And then, after that, and he had some different dad rock on there, Led Zeppelin and, Pink Floyd and stuff, good stuff like that. And then he sprinkled like maybe just a little bit of like from Slipknot to Radiohead, just a few different songs in there. And so I'm just listening to that stuff. Eventually, you know, I get Pandora, the streaming app on my phone. And then from there, I just plugged in maybe classic rock radio or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you go down this pipeline to like Alice in Chains and, you know, different 90s stuff. And I would say whenever I found Alice in Chains, them, and actually before them, The Offspring, I was that was a huge band that I got into.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I want to start a band. And the thought never, you know, fleeted from me till I started one, and now we're in a band. It's awesome.
Yeah, and if you think about like bands from the 90s, even like Slipknot, it's considered dad rock, if you will, because it's like how, you know, it's 20 years old, like when they, I think they formed in 2003. Because when I was obviously being a teenager in the 80s, like 16 years old, and 84, 85 or whatever, bands from the 70s were considered classic rock, and then you got bands in the 50s were like oldies but goodies. So now I'm thinking the music I listen to is now considered oldies but goodies, and then the stuff in the 90s is classic rock. And
in a way.
But you know, music is being so consumed so fast these days. It's like, you know, like it's just, you got to catch that person attention within 20 seconds, you know, otherwise they're clicking on to the next thing. And you know, I got into the thing of streaming music for a long time after, especially when I got sober and I lost all my stuff, you know, like moving from LA to here to Portland. And but I just got in that habit of just streaming music, but I felt like I was missing something. And so then I just bought a record player and just started buying records again and CDs and stuff. And I said, oh, that's what I was missing. It's the fact that you could just kick back and read the liner notes, listen to the lyrics, read the lyrics, and, you know, get a little bit of band history while you got the music on. Don't skip any songs, just let it play all the way through. And and it just gave me that whole new love and appreciation for the music that I've always loved. And
yeah, even using streaming platforms, I'm a huge advocate of just play the whole album. Don't pick like the popular song.
Exactly. Yeah. Even when I do stream, I'll put on a full record and just
just pick whatever album's got the coolest cover.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and that's how I learned. Like, especially as a teenager, like we used to have what's called. You guys probably obviously don't know this, but or you probably heard about it. But it's the Columbia House 12 cassettes for a penny, where they would send you a catalog and you get to pick whatever albums, and you just mail in a penny. And they would mail them to you, but then every month they're going to mail you like a surprise record that you have to kind of pay for. But we didn't know that as a kid, you know. We're just like, I'm already like in debt, like at 10 years old or at 15 years old. I'm already in debt with like Columbia House and shit, you know, because I wasn't accepting those albums. I was just like letting them just fly. But what I would do, I would go through. Me and my little brother would go through the catalog, and we would just pick album covers that looked cool. Like Judas Priest looked cool, Men at Work looked cool, Michael Jackson looked cool. So we had this whole eclectic style of music just from that, you know. And I feel like that's probably what made me feel like I'm such a diverse musician. Like I like a lot of different styles of music as opposed to just metal only, you know. And
for sure.
And
because I didn't know that was a thing. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like, you know, like I said, but you get in debt and shit. And then to get it again, we'd have to use fake names. Like I would put like my name was Bill Me a lot, and I would like, they would actually go for it. Like my name Bill and then Me a lot, and then they would send me that. So that's how we got our music back then, or at least some of it. And but like now, like I said, it's just so like at our fingertips. The whole world is at your fingertips. And I still do that. Like when I click around on YouTube, I'll still like I always look up. I always pay. And I always tell people this: like, oh, music's dead. There's nothing out there. It's all rock and roll is dead. Metal is dead. No, just it's there, and it's actually bigger than it ever was. It's more like the villain now. You know, it's like you have to look for it. It's not accepted by the pop and the hip hop and the rap and all the stuff that the lip syncers and all the auto tune people that like that kind of music. But if you just pay attention to your suggested feed, like, you know, when they suggest artists, if you look up a band and then you get all the suggestions, click on something that looks interesting, and if I like it, I'm going to look for their record or their CD. Like I love you guys. I'm sitting there looking for, okay, do they got a physical copy of this record or this CD? But I would imagine my next question is, are you guys working on a record? Are you going to go down that route, or are you just going to continue with the singles?
We've just been in between drummers so crazy that it's hard to get like a whole recording out, but it's in the works. Like I said, we have those few singles out, and we love who we're doing our recording with. He actually recorded Mastodon's first album.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, Lead Belly Studios. He's awesome.
Oh yeah, and he's there in Atlanta, right? He's like they're kind of local with you
Yeah,
guys.
he lives in Dawsonville, right?
Yeah, some like crazy shit. He's out on a farm. He's got some like horses. It's
he's
a pretty sweet spot.
He's
yeah.
out.
Nice,
in the
nice.
trees. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So is he a producer / engineer? Or is he more like just like it runs everything and you guys sort of produce yourselves, or does he actually say, hey, this should work or that works? And
He does
especially,
everything.
yeah, I gotta say, but if he worked with Mastodon, I would imagine he's like,
No, we showed up. We didn't even have our song finished, and he was like, "What if you guys do this?" And we're like, "Holy shit, we've been working on this for like 3 months."
yeah.
He just done wrote our song in like 5 minutes.
That's what a good producer does. A good producer will bring it out of you instead of just like running the board, you know, like.
Oh, 100%.
For sure. He recorded us. I mean, mixed and mastered everything. So
Nice.
it was really cool. Really cool.
Nice. And that brings me to the question of your songwriting. Who's the master songwriter here? Do you guys, is it a group effort? Like, does someone come up with a riff and then you guys just sort of build onto it? Like, how does that go?
It really depends from song to song. Like Final Wish started. That was our first one of the songs we have a single out on. That was our first practice together, and I just laid down that first bass line and then jammed over that. That's how that happened. And our other single, All You've Got, was she wrote that on guitar. And then just taught us the rest of it, and then we just bounce ideas off each other, and that's usually how it goes. Someone's got an idea, then we're like, all right, let's do it.
That's always the best way to do it in the song form. Right?
Sure.
Some songs might take a couple of weeks to finish, but I think the really good ones are the ones that just come out right away, and it's just like, wow, that's like
yes, for sure. It's crazy how that works. Like it's the ones that come out, the ones that you create quicker end up being better than the when you're trying to craft like a masterpiece.
When you're trying to force it, it's hard. But when something's just coming out and y'all just lock in and it comes out perfectly, it's something else. It's something you can't recreate.
What's the saying about the farts?
It's like a fart. You gotta force it probably.
Let's check out this song, Final Wish. So what is the song about? Skinned and shredded.
It's just about a little bit of murder. Just pretty standard stuff.
Standard metal stuff.
Nothing
killing things.
It's just about having just say maybe an enemy, maybe someone you just don't like, and you just want to see dragged across the pavement and just beat the shit out of them. It's about that.
Fuck yeah. And that's a beautiful thing because I always stress this. I talk to people about this all the time about like when they say, "Oh, lyrics are violent," this and that. Like, no, it's an outlet because imagine expressing it in real life. This is a way of expressing this shit, like, and put it in music and it's therapy because someone can hear those lyrics and if they hear the lyrics and they get inspired to go kill somebody. Well, they were fucked up in the beginning. They weren't. There wasn't the lyrics that did it.
These are lyrics meant to make you want to kick your best friend's ass in the mouth.
They just make you want to give that feeling. You just want to do some fucking fighting, right?
Right.
All right, let's check this out. I love what I love about it. It's so raw, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the band Bathory. Like, if you see that.
Yes.
Right? So that first album, and especially back in the day when I got it, it was like all these bands are well produced and they got like all these perfect sounds. But this guy, it sounded like he recorded off his grandma's transistor or whatever. But it was the fact that they put all that energy and power, and he put all that into it, and that's what comes out. Whereas this is like well produced. And you still hear all that crazy, raw, powerful energy.
What he told us to do when he was recording, he was like, pretend you're playing this in front of thousands of people.
Yeah, that's
like,
a good.
hell yeah.
Did you track it, or was it like just record it live, and did you do any overdubs, or was this like straight live?
We all recorded it together, and then we went back and fixed parts that
fixed little parts, and yeah. That's cool.
Right, but
no metronome.
no metronome.
Yeah.
Straight feel. We wrote that for feel.
Yeah. And you got, there's nothing wrong with a little studio magic as far as fixing things up, because that's what it's about. Being in the studio is you want it to sound the best you can sound. Obviously, like a lot of people rely on too much stuff as far as like I said, the auto tune and the samples and things like that. That could be a little bit, but there's nothing beats like a real actual instruments, And there's nothing wrong with people that cut and paste samples and make like a hip hop beat or whatever. That's fine. But I feel like you can't really call yourself a musician if you're doing that. Maybe you could be a songwriter or song creator. But if you're not actually creating any music on an instrument, I just don't feel like you should be considered a musician. But that's just me.
Yeah, I totally agree. That makes sense.
Yeah. But it's great to see that live, raw music played on instruments will never die. In other words, if you guys had to play a show live, you don't have to worry about your laptops getting stolen or whatever. And you can't. It was like some band that we know of falling in reverse that happened to them, and
did it really?
It caused a bunch of controversy. They canceled they're on a festival or something like that. Fans paid to see, and the bookers paid them and everything, but they had to cancel the show because their entire show was on those laptops. Even though they played instruments live, and and I understand because they have all their lights are on there and a lot of the samples, which because their music is a kind of a cross between hip hop and then metal and stuff like that. That's understandable. But what they could have at least done was like just go out there and play their instruments and play like maybe some covers or just do something raw, just for the crowd. But instead of just canceling,
That's nuts.
That bothered me. What about that band Knocked Loose? Are you into them? I just kind of got into it recently when I saw them on that Kimmel show.
No, I want to say into them. I mean, I enjoy some of their stuff, but
I bought their record just based on the fact that I just love what they did on Kimmel, because it's like we haven't seen that in a long time where a band actually shocked people. And because you see all these they're saying like moms were like complaining, and like there's one mom said that her son got scared of it or something. And I'm like, that's bad parenting right there, because if you're teaching your kid to be scared of metal or rock, and it's
And I think I've actually met a few kids that have really been into metal because I think it's such an energetic and expressive thing. And kids are just these balls of like energy and different emotions and expression. So I think kids should be more exposed to metal as long as, it's not super apparent with the But I mean, I would show a kid, my little cousin, Final Wish or something. I feel like
right.
I feel like they'd like it.
Yeah, and it's like like I said, it's all about the art and the expression. Like a Cannibal Corpse. Like I'm an alcohol and drug counselor as my career or whatever, and I had a client that she was like really like upset. She's saying, "I want to kill my mom. She's pissing me off." But she, she's into hip hop and rap and stuff. I go, what you need? You need some Cannibal Corpse in your life. And so,
dude.
And I was, really, what's that? I go, they sing about entrails and it's just really violent stuff. Oh, I gave her that, and I sent her like a link to it, and then she listened to it. She wrote me back. She texted me back saying, "Oh my God, thank you so much. I feel so much better." And so that's just proof that metal like that, or even just it's therapeutic,
absolutely.
On top of Cannibal Corpse and therapeutic, I used to put on Cannibal Corpse when I went to bed, and it sort of conditioned me to whenever I listen to Cannibal Corpse, I get sleepy.
So you like fall asleep on it,
I used to use Emperor as napping music.
The
black metal group, because it's just, and I love a few of their albums, but it is super like, especially with how thematic and atmospheric it is, it's super nappy and dreamy.
Exactly. And those guys are like, I forgot what the singer's name of Emperor, the guitar player or whatever, but he composes a lot of music for movies and stuff. And
oh wow, I didn't know that.
He's actually a really brilliant composer. He does when he's not doing Emperor, and that's why Emperor hasn't really done anything in a while, because he's been doing a lot of that stuff. And I think they got back together recently. I think I just saw that they did a reunion, and so
I didn't know that. I do know. I'm kind of aware of that crossover between classical and metal. And I'm not just talking about like symphonic metal. I'm talking about the listeners and fans of metal. Like generally more than metal. Now, of course, there's certain people that don't, and there's also certain people that say I listen to everything and they really don't, which is like people you talk to. You know, yeah.
I love people do that. I always say, well, what about Cannibal Corpse? Like, what? What's that? What?
Right. Everyone, whenever you ask, you know, you're like, oh, do you like music? Yeah. What kind of music do you like? Everything. I'm like, yeah, I bet you do, man. I bet you do. Come on down to a Nil Per Os
check this out. Like,
yeah, right.
And then they run for the hills and shit.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, there is, I think, with a lot of listeners, there is a true population that does listen to metal and classical and pop or whatever. I know I'm a very large Lady Gaga and Michael Jackson. And
nice, yeah, like Lady Gaga.
Love all of them. Love Madonna.
Yeah. I know the singer of Crypta, like I don't know if you're familiar with Crypta, like a female death metal band, and the singer, she's like really into Beyonce, and she's got a really good voice. Like she's on Instagram and she'll be singing regular. Like she'll sing, she sings hip hop style. She did something like some kind of project. It was like a tribute to, I think it was a tribute to Whitney Houston or something, and she was singing, and she's got a really, because even though she's like, but she sings really good when she sings clean, and but she's like a major Beyonce fan. She's like, and I would imagine that probably pisses a lot of her like hardcore gatekeeper metal fans off,
Yeah, exactly.
You can't like that. That's not metal.
No, seriously. And she's the front woman of this super successful metal band. I gotta check that out because I haven't seen that. I've only heard her scream because I'm pretty sure in Crypto she most of the time screams.
Yeah, and they only got like 2 albums because they're an offspring of the band Nervosa. I don't know if you're familiar. Nervosa was a all-female death metal band from Brazil, and then I guess she left the band like a long time ago and then formed her own band Crypta, and then Nervosa's still together, but they go through like a lot of members. It's like the one guitar player, she like pretty much has all these different members like every album or something, it seems like. Like, from what I understand, I think she's hard to work with. I think that's the reason why she loses members, but hey, I love her music and she's brilliant at what she does. And and then the Crypta, I think her name is Fernanda. I think that's her name.
I think so.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, look her up. I think she goes by Fifi or something on Instagram. But yeah, she's got some really cool posts. And what about this thing? Speaking of Instagram, you said something about you guys got banned or something, or your original Instagram. What happened there?
Yeah, we had an Instagram. We had like 1,300 or something
followers.
Something followers, and then randomly it was just Instagram was like, you guys violated our terms and conditions. And
oh shit!
Like, what? So we submitted an appeal because we're like, we didn't do anything. And we're just waiting on that. But Instagram support is like non-existent. So
that's what I hate. Like they don't tell you what. Like I get violated all the time on Facebook for just. Sometimes I go out with these MAGA guys and stuff. MAGA people, and I'm just fucking with them. They get so triggered, and then they report me or whatever, and they're like, they say crazy shit to me, but all I do is say something back to them, but I'm the one that gets blocked or whatever. And they don't even tell you what it is, And then like, one time Facebook was going to say, okay, we're going to suspend your account for 7 days, but you could dispute it. So I disputed it because I knew I wasn't in the wrong at what I said. That person was in the wrong. That person was bringing up a bunch of racist stuff or whatever. All I said was, yeah, you probably beat off to tranny porn or something. Just but maybe using the word tranny, I guess, obviously. And I have a lot of and I have a lot of and I have a lot of friends that are transgender. So it's like I didn't mean any disrespect to them, but I didn't think that word was like this was a couple years ago. But they gave me a chance to dispute it. And because I lost the dispute, they gave me 30-day suspension. I was like,
see, they'll get you over anything.
Yeah.
But we made a new account, so we got a little backup account. We got our loyal Nil Per fam.
Yeah. So that I think so you got to try to build those followers up until you get your other one. But at least what you could do is just keep that one and then have the other one, and then you'll have twice as many followers.
If or when we ever get that back, then we'll implement that one. But if not, we got this one.
Are you guys tackling the TikTok world yet, or?
We do have a TikTok. We got like 3 videos up.
Honestly, I think we only have one.
Okay.
I think we only have one. Yeah, we tried, and not tried. I mean, I wouldn't call one an honest try, but we
gave it a shot.
We've given it a shot, right?
Nice.
It's just a whole other demon, dude.
TikTok is
become a TikTok band.
Yeah, I started fucking around with it just recently, like when they were going to ban it, and I said, let me get on TikTok. And I used to be on it a little bit, and it just got annoying because every time you open up those videos, you have to like sit there and skip the video, and it's like
it's super saturated. It's hard to get anything.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are able to find success through social media, specifically TikTok.
Yeah.
But the thing with TikTok is, I don't know who just said it, but something about just like saturation. And the thing about, modern music is that anyone can make it. Like you said,
Yeah.
as long as you have a laptop,
Yeah.
be a musician.
Mhm.
And nothing wrong with electronic. I love it. I love EDM and all that fun shit.
Yeah,
But
me too.
But man, like on TikTok, you're scrolling. It's like everyone's a rapper, everyone's a rock
Yep.
star, everyone's like
It's
is
like that on SoundCloud too. Like all these, like everybody's a rapper or hip hop.
yes, and everyone's really bad. at what
Yeah.
they're
There's a lot
doing.
of
Not everyone, but a
yeah.
lot of people. It's like everyone can make music, and that's not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get guys like, hey, let me check out my beat that I did, and I'll check it out. I was like, and I'll be honest with them and say, yeah, it's good, but I think you're just doing one thing all the way through. You need a verse in there, you need a chorus, you need some kind of,
Yeah, sounds like
you need
fucking
where's the hook at? Like when's the hook
yeah,
at? Like,
yeah.
all I'm hearing is the same thing over and over and over. Yeah, that trap beat stuff.
Right,
It's just like yeah. But I'm old school. I gotta have, like I said, a verse, chorus, a bridge, and all that shit.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are fundamentals right there. You can't.
Yeah.
For
Now,
sure.
what about as far as like do you guys have any management? Are you guys looking to have management? Like what's the end game here? Like where do you guys see yourselves in the next like 3 to 4 or 5 years or whatever?
I would
Hopefully doing a tour, like at
Yeah.
least a smaller
Okay.
tour, because we rarely go out of Georgia. I think we went to Alabama a few times.
Yeah.
but-
The key is getting on one of those festivals. If you can get on those festivals.
Yes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes. Would love to open, or would love to headline, but maybe start with opening up like
Yeah.
big festivals. Like Rockville. That was the first festival I'd gone
That'd be
to.
awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that was
Yeah.
in Daytona, Florida on the Speedway, I think
Yeah.
a couple years ago at this point. And it was so inspiring being able to see all these bands from across the globe, play to 100,000 plus people.
Yeah.
And there's also a local band, Actus Reus, who opened up for Rockville a few years back. Yeah. And so I thought they are very good. I think they're more metalcore adjacent.
Yeah.
It's super inspiring to see local bands get out of
Make it out the hood.
make it out the hood, like make it out the local scene.
Yeah.
Because of just how confining it is and how dramatic it can be.
Yeah.
Scenes. Not that I would think it'd be any less dramatic in a larger, at a larger scale, but
at that point, you got nothing to worry about.
exactly. At that point, you have management to deal with shit for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right now, I guess I initially was taking more of a managerial role, but I would say in the past, I would say for the most part, but I will give credit where credit is due. In the past, like half year, Juls has really like taken initiative and like started up the new band page and got us shows booked and stuff like that where I'd usually be doing it. And so it's good to have
that teamwork.
Teamwork, yeah.
You can't just have one person doing it.
No. I mean, we did that for years. We were our own roadies, our own management, our own bookers, and
Yeah,
that's the way to do it, because other people try to fuck you over any chance they get.
Yeah, because there's two ways it could work. I mean, like obviously managing yourself can be a little bit hard because you want to focus on the creative side, but it's also you got to have a manager you could trust. You got to have, look at Iron Maiden. I mean, they've got the same manager they've had since they started their band in '75. Rod Smallwood, he's still their manager to this day. It's like so that's when you found somebody you can trust.
Right. Sure. Yeah, I would love to like have a friend or someone who's really into business and like get like a business college major in and be like,
it's all about finding like even your friends. It's like Moby. I remember reading an interview with Moby, the guy that does like that electronic music and stuff, and he said when he first started out, he said he did what he did, but he had all of his friends around him. He said he found one guy that's good at marketing, one guy that's good at accounting, one guy that's good at this or that, and he would just put them all as his teamwork, So he found people that were like in his circle that he could trust, that were friends, and just found out what their talent is, like as far as their skill, and then they just kind of work together like that. And so that's who helped him kind of get where he needed to get. Are you guys shopping for labels? Like, how does that work these days as far as getting signed? Like, back in the day, we had to mail our package out to a zillion record labels and get rejection letters until we finally got one that accepted us. It was like a $10,000 record deal or whatever, but at least it was enough to. And it was a black metal label. But,
yeah, there you go. Yeah, she's an intern. Are you still doing that?
Yeah.
State City?
Not as like consistently, I'd say, just because of other like life things. But I am an intern with Terminus Hate City, so that's a Metro Atlanta area label, and so they have several different metal bands, and it's all very DIY. There's not like scummy kind of record label stuff that you think of whenever you hear record label. Like locals, like real people from the area, like
just
in the
trying
scene.
to build up the scene and all that, and get people going.
Yeah, exactly. And so I've been helping with that, so I get to see a little bit of what goes into what you're talking about, like with the bands that are on the label, putting together packages and sending out their stuff, make sure they're getting, promotion and whatever. So I think we do have that is kind of an opportunity on the side. If we want to pursue a label, we could probably reach out to them and fire something up. But I don't know how strongly we're thinking of getting on a label quite yet.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of just keep doing what you're doing. It's going to happen when it happens, You go through some rejections and just know how to handle the rejections. Don't let it break you, get you down. And some people give up and say, "Oh, fuck this, I guess it's not for me." But the more no's you get, the stronger you get. The more no's you get through, the stronger you get to that yes. And there's a label called 13G Records, I believe, which I like a lot of the bands on there, like there's Squid Pisser. I think Star Crawler's on there. Yeah, I love Squid Pisser and Cancer Christ, I think, is on there. Like, yeah. So
I would picture of Cancer Christ.
I can see you guys being on that. I can see you guys being on a label like that.
Totally. We tried to get a show with Cancer Christ, and then did not go through because they did not respond. They responded to our message, but
they did. Oh, cool.
Like a singular emoji. After
well, the key is just keep at them. Just keep letting them know who you are, where you're at. Eventually they're gonna like bite. It's just a matter of just being in their face.
Well, the front man, I think the front man got arrested, and so I don't know if he's still available.
Yeah, I watched some videos on that guy. He was fucking crazy and shit.
They were all crazy. The freaking one of the guitarists, the Snake guys, he had a spray bottle of his piss. I think his name was literally Piss Snake. It was He was like spray his piss on everyone.
And I think the drummer plays in Squid Pisser and Cancer. I think they trade off of members every now and then. Yeah, I think they all know each other. And
that would make sense. Yeah, that's really cool. That's cool.
And again, that was me just sticking around on YouTube and clicking around, and that's all Squid Piss. I got a name like that. I gotta check these guys out.
They're awesome.
Yeah, fuck your priest or whatever that song was. Like it was like a 39-second song.
Yeah.
And it was so chaotic because what I like about them is that their music is so chaotic. It just sounds like white noise almost. But when I'm listening to it closely and breaking it down, they're playing some intricate guitar parts, and those drums are crazy, man. Like that drummer is really good.
I've seen them with Guar and live.
Yeah, I know. I missed them. I was going to see Guar, and that's the reason why I wanted to go to see Guar. I saw Guar already a couple years before that, but this last year they were supposed to play, but I had to work, and I couldn't get out of work. So
no, they were awesome. They put on an awesome show, and I'm really stingy with my merch money, but I bought their T-shirt.
Yeah.
I didn't know who they were. I saw one show, and I was like, these guys are awesome. Dude.
Yeah, badass. Hopefully, they got a new record coming.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now, what is your guys? So, how many shows have you guys played? Like, what type of places do you play? I know you guys got a show coming up here. Let me put up a picture here.
We'll play from bars. This is our first show of the Masquerade. That's our biggest step up yet.
Yeah. Is that the name of the club? Like, or is that just they call it that night?
It's like a more professional venue. It's nice. It's a fresh breath away from playing sweaty dudes' basements and just like middle of nowhere bars.
Oh, cool. Yeah. You definitely got to get your feet wet on a lot of those, man.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You got to get a few bottles thrown at you. You got to get in a few fist fights. That's
right.
That comes with the territory.
That's on the way up.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, Masquerade. That's like Jules said, the biggest step yet. Masquerade's pretty much in the middle of Atlanta. It's in
We got our tickets on Ticketmaster. That's pretty huge for us.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, nice. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, we've seen like Guar play the Masquerade, and so the Masquerade, for context, is 4 different segments. So there's heaven, hell, and purgatory, and the altar.
Okay.
So there's these different like venues within this big venue.
And
purgatory, I'm not sure where that is in terms of size.
It's like the standard one. It's not. I think either heaven is the biggest.
I think so.
It's like a step down, and then purgatory is like a neutral. Like it's pretty big. It's still professional. It's not like crazy huge. And then the altar is for like smaller bands. So I mean, to jump right in and be in purgatory is pretty huge.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Our friend, shout out to Rory Donovan. He hooked us up with this because he recently got a booking job there, and he really pulled through for us. And
he really did.
We're super grateful to play. It's gonna be awesome.
It's a good thing to when you get on a stage at like some of the bands that you look up to or played. You know, like when we first moved to Hollywood, we were playing the Whiskey, and within like a year or so, we're playing the Whiskey, the Roxy, and all. Like we're like, wow, man, Motley Crue played here. Like, or Judas Priest, or not Judas Priest, but Twisted Sister and Iron Maiden.
That's crazy.
They would come out and they'd hang out at the Rainbow Bar and Grill, and we were in there. And I'd go in there and drink and be like, yeah, man, like I'm here. Lemmy's at, hanging out with Lemmy.
Yeah. It's crazy. And the altar stage at the Masquerade, that's like the one, it's a newer one they just opened up in the past year, and it's for like local bands, and so I think initially this show was set to be in the altar or on the altar stage, but then it got like boosted up to Purgatory, and so now we're like
we're hot shit now.
Yeah, exactly. We're basically no longer a local band, so
Nice. You guys got an image? I see, and I see Dalt's got some cool makeup on, and that's what I love too. The fact you guys have an image going.
Yeah.
Is that like, so do you guys have a set image, or is it more like let's just throw something together and be your own character in a sense of like?
We have our usual getup. Like Trinity will have some extravagant makeup and some cool fit she puts together, and Cody's always got his vest on, and I got the whole getup with the gauntlets and the mask and all that. We'll play Halloween shows, and I'll be dressed as Ozzy.
Oh, nice.
We'll be all dressed as like cowboys.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
We'll be all over the place.
Nice.
And I do have a couple of alter egos. So I have gone on stage as, I'm Doll. I've gone on stage as Darlene before, who is my grandma.
Oh, Mima.
Okay. Mima, for the kids. So, and she definitely brings a different kind of atmosphere and energy to the shows. And people really like that. And people really like Darlene. People probably like Darlene maybe more than me. I honestly am starting to think. And then we did a cowboy themed show, like an old Western themed show.
That was cool.
That was awesome. And
so you're kind of like a modern day Alice Cooper, because that's how Alice Cooper sees himself. He's like, that's a character, and it's like a totally different.
It leaves room to just have fun and just go out there and do whatever.
For sure. And another inspiration, Lady Gaga, because she was very extravagant with her, aesthetic and her look and stuff. And she also had an alter ego, I'm pretty sure named like Tony or some.
Yeah, I think I've seen that before.
Yeah, some shit like that. And she was just this guy, just dressed up as like kind of this New York Italian sort of guy. And she did very well. And so that was kind of drew inspiration from that. And, Alice Cooper too, and anyone who kind of dresses up. Also, what was it? Oh yeah, I have a brother who's named Dalton, and that's the cowboy. And so
that was fun.
Yeah, people really like that. I think people like the cowboy shit.
What trips me out? Like I'll tell people, like even to this day, like Kiss is like probably the most popular band with makeup, because to this day, when I tell people like, oh, my band, we wore makeup and stuff, they always say, oh, like Kiss?
Yes.
I mean, there's been like thousands of bands after Kiss that wore makeup. Cradle of Filth, we got Marilyn Manson, they never bring up anybody that's like just as popular. It's always Kiss. Is that Kiss? Oh, like Kiss? It's more like kind of like Marilyn Manson, but we were doing it before him. He kind of stole some stuff from bands in LA, and we were one of them. And
No, for sure. That's the exact go-to. Like people will be like, they'll see me or whoever in Corpse Paint, they'll be like, oh, Kiss, like Kiss. Is a chick a lot. Like after we play our set at shows and stuff, people will be like, And I know it's a compliment. I definitely always take it as a compliment
Yeah,
because
no
they're
doubt.
amazing musicians that they, compare me to, but they're like, oh, you're like Ginger. Oh, you're like Kitty. Oh,
Uh-huh.
any
Yeah.
mainstream, not mainstream, but more kind of popular metal female vocalist,
Mhm.
which is cool, but it's like I don't sound like any of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
sort of.
I mean, I kind of sound like the Kitty chick. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna kind of sound like old Kitty when she had like
Yeah,
those
yeah. I can hear that.
undeveloped vocals
Yeah.
and stuff, and it was
Yeah.
incredibly raw. Like I do share some of that for sure. Um,
Someone's compared us to Chevelle one time.
Zoe Queer.
Oh, yeah?
We got it all sorts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Although
Wow.
I've never gone the Bathory comment before, and that's actually super flattering.
Oh, fuck yeah, yeah.
I love Bathory.
That is our most flattering compliment.
That
Yeah.
is your. I love Bathory, dude.
Yeah,
I
Bathory,
love
like Cordon was a hero.
We got compared to AC/DC before.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
Like, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
that.
maybe one note or two, but maybe a note or two.
Yeah. So occasionally we'll like practice at this local park and stuff. Say if can't practice in the garage because dad's working on something or whatever it is. And so we'll go out to this park and this one lady, like older lady walking her dog. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
She's like, oh, it's like ACD.
And she was like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
we played 10 seconds of Sarah Swain. She was like, oh, okay, I'm just.
Yeah. It's like my mom was like that because she was a big Beatles fan, and I'd play her some of my music, which was like totally outrageous compared to Beatles. But she'd be like, "Oh, you guys are like the Beatles."
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm like, wait. And then she'd hear a song on the radio that wasn't like she'd think it was us because when I told her like one time I told her, yeah, because we went to LA, we did get played on some radio, but it's just like local, like little like smaller stations or whatever. But now every time she would hear a band on the radio, she thought it was us. Like it's like she'd hear Radiohead, think it was us. She'd hear like some other band, think it was us. I'm like, no, mommy, that wasn't me.
No, mom, that's the Beatles.
Yeah, the Beatles. Remember the Beatles? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I think a lot of like people maybe in that generation and stuff, or maybe like the generation right after it, would think like as heavy as it gets is Black Sabbath. So they hear metal and then they think Black Sabbath. I'm like, oh, okay. Like,
yeah, very true. Are you guys considered Gen Z? Is that your generation?
I think so. Yeah.
I wouldn't say Gen.
We
are. Legally, we are Gen Z. Unfortunately.
Because I'm Gen X, but sometimes I get, okay, boomers. Like, I'm a Gen Z or Gen X. I'm right between the millennials and the boomers.
I promise you.
I'm 56. I'm 56 with the mindset of 25. Look at my room. It's like,
yeah. And we're early 20s with the mindset of probably 12-year-olds. So.
Yeah, right. You got to keep that. Yeah, you got to keep that going because I mean, music is metal, especially metal and rock. It's a fountain of youth, and people say, "Well, why you?" Because I have friends that are like 30 or 40, and they act like they're 80 years old, and it's like, man, because you don't have any fucking rock or metal in your life,
Yeah, dude.
You don't have video games, you don't have comic books, you don't have action figures like I got,
What are you doing with yourself?
All that shit, yeah.
I would say, like, with the exception of your neck and your back from like headbanging, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's the one part of metalheads that's probably going to age like maybe a little quicker.
I was complaining about my neck all day.
Oh,
over. Headbang one too many times.
Right.
Did you do a show recently?
Let's check out a clip of you guys live so we can give the audience a little taste of what you guys are like live.
Yeah.
Check it out. That's not. I noticed you got like the high pitched kind of black metal vocals, and you got the lower kind of, and then you got your regular voice, which is really cool.
Yeah. Her vocals are all over the place.
Yeah. And you play with your fingers, which is cool. What about you, Cody? Are you big on the guitar solos? You guys do a lot of guitar solos? Are you into
one?
Yeah,
Right.
All you've got,
All you've got is our guitar solo. We got our ballad, but it couldn't be too ballad. We got to put the power in the ballad.
Yeah,
and have the guitar solo in there.
Yeah.
Even though he can shred, though, like, do not be fooled. He is. We stay in mainly the cash register, like in the first 3 frets. But do not be fooled. Like this man can shred.
Yeah. Well, I think about like a guitar solo is only necessary when it's necessary. Like a lot of songs don't really call for one, and sometimes people overplay them or put them in when they shouldn't even be there because that's more of like an ego thing. Like I gotta have my guitar solo. It's like, and I used to be that way, but I kind of learned that wow, a great song doesn't have to have a guitar solo, especially. When grunge came in, that's when you kind of started seeing guitar solos disappear, and then the whole like new metal stuff came out, and so then it started becoming more about the song, like
Oh yeah.
And I thought,
I was about to say, like you said about new metal. I don't think Korn has a single guitar solo.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah, or like Linkin Park or anybody, and
Yeah. I mean, that guy, like those guys still do some of the most creative things with their guitars, like especially Korn, the way that they do like the little things. It makes it sound like the guitar's it makes it sound like it's talking, or like it's like in a cave or some shit.
Nice. Yeah. Now, aside from that club that you guys played, like where else have you guys played? Like as far as it always like, do you guys play like a lot of like parties, or you guys do like?
Yeah, we'll do like a lot of like we'll have a few bar gigs, but usually it doesn't bring as much of a crowd as if we just play in some dude's basement. And
but
those got the most energy, and those are the most fun.
Those are the most fun. Like it's if you want to make money, then you play a bar. If you want to have fun and also get more probably like recognition and exposure, like play a basement. But we have been able to like creep into a few legitimate venues. You know what I'm saying? I would say the most legitimate, the most like known would be the Masquerade. The one that's coming up. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, we've played a few smaller venues like the Inner Space, which they recently closed down, but they were awesome, and playing there was awesome.
I feel like we should talk about the Nil Per Os curse.
Oh yeah, what is that? Oh yeah, let's hear that.
That's whenever we play with like a big band, or
we
like
had our curse, definitely.
Yeah, if we ever have like dreams of playing with a band, something happens and they disband.
Yeah. Every venue we play, like right after we play, it shuts down.
So this happened with the first our first show ever. We played at this house venue that was probably the most popular at that time in Atlanta. Yeah, it was called the Catacombs. And so we played there, and that just happened to be that venue's last show before
it's like the last show or second to last show. Then the owner got canceled for like
locally canceled,
hitting his
girl.
They're gone.
It was some crazy bullshit. So we cursed them, and then played Inner Space in Underground Atlanta, which is that other venue, and then they shut down like right after our show.
3 weeks after they're gone.
And then we played with this, and they were like legit the biggest band in the scene at the time. They were called Evil Intent, and we played a show. Wait, did we play a show? No, we played a show with them.
Yeah,
and then they disbanded.
We played
and then we played like.
Same thing with Cancer Christ. After we sent that text message to them, it was over like a week or two later.
And then we see the frontman getting arrested, dude.
Oh shit!
We have cursed in any band and that's happened more with more bands than just Evil Intent. We've
you hear that, audience? If you're watching this and the video goes black, and so these guys it's the curse.
Dude,
the channel gets like shut down or some shit.
Do not do it. It's too risky.
Now, I noticed you mentioned something about getting paid as far as when you play bars. So is that a factor? Do you guys actually make money when you guys play? Like, are you doing the pay per play or pay to play type thing, whatever? Like,
we get we'll get a nothing crazy. I can't make a living off of it. We get drink tickets and maybe we're not 21 yet, so we'll spend poppers and wings and stuff.
That's good. Yeah.
Whenever we get money, we funnel into a band account because
that's good. Yeah, that's what we did too.
We get gas money if we need be, but if we split it 4 ways, we'll get like $15. I don't really care.
Yeah, we did that too. We'd blow it all on pizza though. We'd go to pizza afterwards and like,
Yeah,
where's all our money at?
We've done that before.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure. Like right after spending, a few $100s at the studio, we'll like just go out for pizza. We'll be like, all right, this is the rest of the band money.
We'll reinvest all the money into the band because this isn't starting a band in music. You don't do it for money. If you're trying to do it for money,
you got to do it. I always tell people you got to do it because you love it, because you can make money and then you might not make money, but if you do it because you love it, that's more like when we got our $10,000 deal for that black metal label. Like we spent $3,000 on the record, on the recording. And then we kind of just blew the rest, like on equipment, just all kinds of stuff. And then we called the label and we want to go on tour. Like, what's our budget? And they're like, well, how much of that 10,000 you got left? For like nothing. Well, there's not gonna be no tour. So, right,
man.
Yeah, I guess we didn't see that. We didn't see that in the contract, but
no, right, yeah.
You live and you learn.
We got to get like a band van or something to get out of state. I mean, we don't need one. I have a big old truck, so we could get by with that. And like for the gear, and then maybe someone's car for the people. But
and you gotta want to do just go out there and do it. Like, even though now it's like kind of things are easy as far as like show up for a gig, whatever. But like, I always feel like the bands still take those chances where they just go on the road and just go for broke. Like how we just moved to Hollywood. We lived in our car for a couple of months and just sort of like ate off the streets until we can get in our own place. And like, you don't hear about bands doing that no more. Like you guys don't even have to move to LA. Like, back then we thought you had to move to LA to make it. Like, now like we just think like, well, damn, we could have just stayed home and did everything off the internet,
Yeah, I think with social media that helps, because with LA it's all concentrated. Everyone's focusing on there for music. That's where all the record labels are looking. But I think with social media it's easier to reach out, and you can start a band in the middle of Wisconsin and blow up on TikTok the next day. So,
exactly. But there's nothing like to be able to play live and just book those shows and just have your bad nights, have your good nights, and it's just that's what makes you stronger as a band. And it also tests you guys out to like when you're on the road with each other. Like you guys probably get along, but then imagine spending a week on the road with each other. You're going to be pulling each other's hair out. And
I'm killing him by the end of it.
Yeah. Do you guys get along well as a band? Like, have you guys had your band fights? Like, I used to get drumsticks thrown at me like every now and then.
Oh my gosh, yeah. No, there is a little bit of yelling. I think it's all just fun and games, though.
It's all tough love.
It's all tough love. I will say Juls is probably the worst, though. And I don't know. Like, I can't really explain what I mean by that, but it's just something you have to like take. It's like he's the worst.
Hammering Cody for a week, so get the solo in the right key.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I was gonna say, like, who's the control freak of the band? Because there's got to be like one control freak, right?
I think that definitely goes to me.
Yeah.
But it's all tough love. I love these guys
for sure. I
think I draw the best out of them.
We're gonna say something.
I'm just here.
Okay.
Somebody has to do it though.
I would say we're both like personality wise, we're probably the most similar. And that's, I'm not gonna say butt heads, but it's like we both have that kind of control freak, that inner control freak. But more so recently, I think this has to do with Jules taking like more initiative, is kind of just like booking shows and getting the band page rolling and like different kind of manager sort of things. Like he's also become more of a little control freak and being oh, you're off pitch. No, I'm joking.
A little pitchy there.
No, seriously,
me and my drummer went through the same thing because we were like that, the same way, and we'd get new members in the band, and I was kind of like the good cop, he was the bad cop, or he like when it came to telling the so and so what they needed to be doing, and or sometimes like if they have a problem with Tony, that guy would come to me like, man, meet him. I don't know, man, he's grilling me on this. I'm like, oh, don't worry about it, man. I'll talk to him and stuff. I always have to smooth shit out,
That is awesome.
And then a week later, they're out of the band, So
it's rough.
And a little bit of a callback, but on the knocked loose note, I haven't personally gone into them, but I can definitely respect like them, kind of what they're doing and stuff.
I think that's what I'm more about, the respect. I would listen to the record. I was like, I don't know if I can listen to this a whole lot because it's just straight yelling and screaming, but which is cool. And it's like every song kind of sounds the same, but
Right.
They've gotten a lot of people into metal. I've heard like a bunch of people that have gotten into the genre, and they're like, oh yeah, I started off listening to Knock Loose. So that's
I think it's cool what they also did, and it got a lot of hate. Is what they did with Poppy, who's like that,
Yeah, because
who did like pop, and then she was like a YouTuber. Then she did pop music, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she's like doing industrial.
is that how she originated? I was wondering where she came from. I remember seeing her off and on YouTube, and then
Yeah,
I saw her when she did that thing on Kimmel.
She was like this super ominous kind of YouTube character
Yeah.
that definitely played her character right, and then started with music, and I think her doing the thing with Knocked Loose was really cool. Even though people don't like her because she's a chick doing metal, but I think it's cool. And I will say, Silly Goose, they're very Knocked Loose adjacent, and they're out of Atlanta. They're pretty cool as well. But I think we're not really into hardcore though, and I think those could be considered hardcore. I think in the metal scene, in the local scene here at least, there's almost a rift, a beef, a barrier, if you will, between hardcore and like heavy metal.
Okay, yeah.
Hardcore and heavy metal.
Yeah. What about where does metalcore fit in it? Like, is metalcore kind of a big thing with you guys?
Metalcore's big here, and
I try to get into some metalcore bands. I mean, I guess when I just haven't heard none that really blows me away. And I know one thing about metalcore is like a lot of the band names have it's like a sentence or something like.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. A day to remember.
Like if you guys were actually called Not Taken by Mouth or Don't Take by Mouth, then that would be like a metalcore.
Nothing by mouth. Do not take this in your mouth.
Yeah. Like as I lay dying, or like, and then there's like. Help! I've fallen and I can't get up. That would be like, it's almost like they take a lyric and that's the name of our band. Like they'll take a full like sentence almost. And
and metal is already a subculture as is, but then it has its own like subcultures within the subculture.
Yeah,
and I think hardcore people are just notoriously douchebags.
Just
douchebags.
For the most part.
And then punks are usually like whiny and aren't really doing much with their lives.
But we love our hardcore and punk fans. We love
we love the fans. Yeah, we love our hardcore and punk fans, right? But like dude, there's too much to say there. There's too much,
especially in the Atlanta scene. It's
my god.
It definitely clashes. Like, so there's a lot of clashing going on in those three worlds or whatever.
Metalcore, I think that may or may not fit.
They're neutral.
Yeah, they're very neutral. I think they would fit more into the heavy metal category than anything. But they're pretty neutral. Yeah, the metalcore bands. I think some of the metalcore bands are the more successful ones in the local scene.
Like you said, Actus Reus.
Actus Reus. Rockville.
Yeah,
there's another band called Insomni.
They blow up pretty big too.
Yeah, and they usually all have their shit together. They usually have an album. They have singles. They have music videos and stuff. A few of the metalcore bands, and some of them also have that thing where they're incorporating like electronic sounds into it, like synths and different things like that, where they may be the kind of bands that have their songs on their laptops,
exactly. Like
but
hopefully if their laptops go down, they can still perform live, at least play something live.
Right.
If people are playing local shows, they could definitely go through it on computer.
You would think.
Awesome.
Yeah. Do you guys do covers? Have you fucked around with any covers? Like, have you thought about doing any covers of some of the classic stuff that you guys like, classic rock or metal that you guys maybe put your own spin on it?
We've done Alice in Chains. We did Queen of the Rodeo at that. When he showed that live clip, that was
that was it.
That wasn't that song, but that was from that show. That was the
so you guys did that
show. That's why we're all dressed as cowboys.
Nice. Nice.
We did that song. I don't think we've done Cassie Eats Cockroaches by Acid Bath.
Okay,
and
cool.
People love that because Acid Bath is really blown up, despite being a little bit more unknown, I think, in the past like 3 years or so because of TikTok. They've really blown up. And so now all these, little kids, they really like Acid Bath. So we pull up we start playing. We start playing Cassie Eats Cockroaches, and they go feral. They
got a cool name too. I love that name, Acid Bath. It's like
yes, they are super. Alice in Chains. I don't know if I mentioned them. I did mention them, but but they're probably my favorite band. Them right there with Acid Bath, and then maybe somewhere in there's Pantera. But Alice in Chains, that's why we ended up doing the Queen of the Rodeo, because it was fitting for the show. It was just right enough. It's just abrasive and raw. Just
can you see yourselves recording that for like an album, like record the cover and put that on an album?
Throwing Cassie's on there would be cool, but I feel like Rotten Apples would come after our ass.
Well, I don't know when you guys distribute your music like on Spotify, are you going through DistroKid or anybody like that? 'Cause I go through DistroKid for my stuff, and and if you do a cover, like you can, they'll do the licensing. I think it's like $12 every month or something, and they'll work out the licensing for you, so where you can actually, because I did a cover of Blondie's "Call Me," that song from like the '80s, whatever. So I did a slow down gothic version of it, and I
that's really cool.
and I released it through a DistroKid, and they took care of the so Blondie, she's gonna get like a 0.000% of what I get, because obviously you don't make money on streaming, it's like
seriously, we use
0.04 cents.
And it's worked well. I don't think we've received any kind of check from DistroKid, obviously, but
I mean,
but that's not how you make money. You make money off of merch primarily.
You're gonna get off of streaming, so over the past, I started releasing new music in 2020 when the pandemic, but I've got about maybe 6 or 7 singles on there. And I made about $189 in revenue just from that. Was it 5 years now? So I made some money off the streaming, but it's not a lot, but I guess it's something.
Absolutely.
Paid the electric bill for one month, I guess.
For sure.
It all pays off in the end.
But I just kind of leave it in there and just leave it alone. It's just like, because I do a lot of promoting myself. Like, when I release a new song, I do all of the marketing stuff, and try to get everyone into it. I'll do like a, just go on a big marketing campaign with all the social media, but I just haven't done it in a couple of years. So I'm thinking about, I'm just going to put out a record, man. I got 6 songs written, and I just got to go into the studio and record them.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you mind showing us your cat behind you?
Oh yeah. That's my she's my little prop. What's that? Her name's Tamara.
You said what's her name?
Tamarin.
Tamarin.
Like Tamarindo. Yeah, she's a little cat.
Yeah, she's so cute. She seems so peaceful.
She's 9 years old, but she acts like a little kitten. Like she still has toys all over the house, and she's plays with the wakes up. Yeah, she whenever I come home.
Whenever you play music, does she like?
If you go on my TikTok or even on my social media, I'm always posing. What I do, I'll post like a picture of like what album I'm listening to. And I'll put it next to her like she's posing with it or whatever. So like I'm listening to Ozzy Osbourne, Diver or Madman, and it'll be a picture of her like sitting next to the CD cover or the album cover, and and there's even times where I'll bleep my boombox. She'll like have her head on the boombox, So she was born in Mexico, believe it or not. She was born in Mexico. She was rescued by some rescue team that goes down there, I guess, Southern California, Mexico, and they rescue animals, and then they adopt them out of up here in Portland. And I guess they rescued her in like 2015. I think she was just a little kitten, and then my niece adopted her, and my niece wasn't, she was kind of neglecting her, and she was going to take her back to the shelter. And I said, no, we'll keep her, we'll take her. And we've had her ever since 2016, and she's like, she's my best friend. She's the only cat I've ever had that can actually have a conversation with, because she's a tortoise, and tortoises talk a lot. So she's like, meow, meow, meow.
Wow, that's adorable.
That is so cute. Yeah, I'm a huge cat person. Dogs are on thin ice, but I'm a huge cat person. I like reptiles as well.
I love dogs. I just can't have one in an apartment. I feel like I didn't have to walk it all the time. I always had dogs as a kid. And I'm thinking about getting a ball python. I have a friend that's he breeds them, and I used to have a Burmese python, but I'm thinking about getting a ball python because he said he's got like a bunch of different colored ones, and it's been a while. But I just don't like feeding them rats and mice because I love those too. As far as pets, I used to have a pet rat. But I guess you could feed them dead ones already. That's already dead. So
you can, and also I think with reptiles, this is something I experienced whenever I had a couple of bearded dragons.
I might get one of those too. Those things.
Beardies are awesome and definitely have quite some personality for reptiles, which are usually pretty.
That's what I noticed. Like when I go to the pet store, they always look all like like they know what you're up to. I
will say though, like if you have a cat as well, depending on how feral that cat is, they may try to get a hold of that reptile.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My cats were always very intrigued by the bearded dragons.
Yeah.
And so whenever we had them out, you've got to be very aware and careful.
Yeah, she killed both my mice the first week we got her. Like she'd already gotten in my mice cage and killed. I had a white mouse and a black mouse. I called them Salt and Pepper. And I came home from work one day and I saw like Salt was on the ground dead. And then the next day I see Pepper on the floor, on the floor dead. But he was like spread apart, like she actually like pulled her intestines out.
Yeah.
I thought it was a cat turd or something, or I thought it was like a cat a fur ball. I looked close, like, oh shit, that's my poor little mouse.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
We
she
got
somehow
3
got in there.
cats over at my house, and they're all indoor outdoor because we're in the woods, so they roam around and stuff. And there's one cat in particular. His name is Shadow, but we call him Gambus, and he's a solid black cat, and he's the one that murders the most like little rodents around the house. It brings me presents. And he'll always do that. Like he will leave them completely dismembered. And he likes brains, though. He will make sure that their head is and like he eats the brains out. And the rest of the
final wish about Gambus.
Okay.
About him.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's play a little bit of that song, All You Got. Or that's what's this about?
So this one, it's very personal, and I'll just kind of leave it open for interpretation.
Yeah.
It's because it could be just about someone you love, or it could be about something that you really hate, and it's all you have still.
That's all you have.
Whether it be a human, a memory, an illness, whatever it is, I think it can be open for interpretation.
Sometimes holding on to pain is like they sometimes feel like that's all you got, and that's why some people stay stuck in a certain pain because they feel like that's all they got.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's check it out. Very cool. I like that guitar sound. I don't know if you're fans of The Cure, but I'm a big Cure fan. So like, I was hearing some Cure flavors in there. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I'm a big fan of like, I guess you could call that the seventh chords. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All that like pretty melodic, very airy sound. I'm a big fan whenever I play and I write stuff. And I'm just kind of jamming with myself, I'll often go into that space.
Yeah. I love add 9 chords are like my favorite too. Like
and
everything in minor. I love everything in minor keys, and
of course.
Nothing wrong with a major every now and then.
Yeah.
So before we go, anything you want to say to the fans of Nil Per Os?
Go follow our new account. Build us back up at on Instagram. We're at Nil Per Os official 2.
Yeah.
With, periods in between. But,
make sure you see the 2 in there because
right.
The number 2.
Yeah. And
even just typing the name, you're gonna find it pretty much. That's what I did.
Yeah. And also just a message that we very much appreciate all the support. And our friends and all our Nil Per family that make it out to all the shows they go to, and buy the tickets and buy our merch and stuff. But even just being there, and even just supporting through a comment online, or a personal compliment to like one of us saying, hey, you guys are kicking ass, and I see something in you guys, and yada yada. I think
I noticed that when I saw you guys on YouTube, it's like I was reading some of the comments, and I could see that you guys have that really cool support from.
Oh yeah,
a lot
of them.
Thank God, because I think in a lot of us like that Southern hospitality. I think a lot of people, they're like, all right, 6 set, even if they weren't really into the style of music or whatever, people are able to support us. And I think it also comes from us just kind of being good people. Like a lot of people, you don't get that with musicians. I'm not even going to say metal or local. I'm not going to say any of that. It's just musicians in general have such egos, and people once they start putting out music, they're like, or they start playing shows, they're like, oh, okay, they get just a taste of what fame could be like, and that it drives people mad. It gives them like that king complex.
After I see someone who's got like a cool sound, or I just like admire them as a player, like some local band I never heard of, and I go and talk to them, like, oh, 6 cent. I start asking them questions and stuff, and it always feels awesome when they're like excited to show me like everything. So whenever someone comes up to me and it's like, oh, I love your wah pedal, I'm like, oh, cool, here's my whole pedal chain. Check it out.
That's good to be that way.
What I would want to hear from someone I enjoy listening to.
Shout out Royce.
Shout out Royce, dude.
Give some shout out.
People like his stuff a lot, especially because he's got that goblin bass. It's like it's his bass that I don't know the chick's name.
It was like Guitar Graffiti Garage something on Instagram, but
something like that.
She painted this bass, and I found it at a music store used.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, I'll take that, and cool. I didn't know who did it until I found in the bottom her signature was at the bottom, like a year or two after I had it, and I was like, oh, no way. And I reached out to her, and she was really cool about it. And was like, oh,
it's almost like fate, huh?
Exactly. For that, because they're not cheap, and to find that at like a used guitar shop, oh, no way. It just felt like fate, because I walked into that on my way to work. I was like, yeah, I'll stop at this. I'm early. I'll stop at this guitar shop, and I found it, and I was holding it. I was about to ask the guy about it, and whenever I was holding it, every single person who walked by me was like, oh, that's so cool. Are you gonna get that? That's such a cool bass. I was like, oh shit, I got it now. I got it now.
People go up to him and be like, I love your bass and stuff. And then people come up to me and be like, you scream pretty good for a chick. And I'm like, thanks.
He's like, okay, thanks, right?
Which is not, I don't think people don't really realize sometimes that's not necessarily a compliment.
Some people are still stuck in the days of like when Lita Ford, like a metal musician back in the 80s, like she was the only female that could play guitar and sing, like, or Joan Jett,
Exactly. And it's crazy. We I know we're trying to wrap up here, but we had played this festival back like a local kind of festival back last year in April, I believe. And we opened, there was like fucking 10 bands on the bill. And out of 10 bands, all with say 3 to 5 members in them, I was the only female that was on that stage that day. I mean, seeing females in bands, and especially with metal, is still pretty uncommon. Which it's has pros and cons, because on the plus side, it makes us stand out. I think it definitely gives us extra oomph and extra flair. And I can do things with my voice that a man couldn't do. And like men can do different things with their voices and stuff. But the drawback is just, that you're just a chick in a band.
Sometimes it's run of the mill too. Like, okay, I've heard that before,
exactly. It's but that's mainly just kind of just social shit. I can easily look past that, because most people mean well, even whenever they say, "Oh, you're pretty good for a girl."
Like it's more like they're just kind of more on the naive side. They're not meaning any kind of harmful way. Yeah.
For sure. Unless, dude, but whenever a girl says that to me, it stings extra hard. It stings. I'm like, no.
She easily gets the most compliments, and
Yeah.
she gets all the girls.
Yeah, cool, nice.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna join a band. Like, oh, it's cool. You have all these
So
girls.
she gets all the groupies in it.
Yeah. She gets all of them.
Yeah. He gets all the guys. I get all the girls, and then he gets all he
gets all the old heads.
I was just going to say all the old, arguably creepy men who are like, oh, I like that Hugh and Kettner or whatever. And,
nice.
Yeah. Like, oh, can I touch your guitar?
Yeah. I got that too when I was in. I used to be more skinny on androgynous. I'd wear like the gothic makeup, and I'd have like guys hit up on me and stuff. But I had one guy that would follow me all around Hollywood and pull over and say, "Hey, can we have dinner?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm straight. I
oh my gosh,
have no problem with you being gay or whatever. That's all good." But I got a girlfriend. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But if I was gay, you're a good looking guy. I'd probably, but I'm just not. I'm sorry about that.
Right. Yeah.
But,
it is cool though having a lot of girls that like us and a lot of girls that like me because
inspire them. You let them know, hey, look, you can do this too.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think they find it very inspiring, and I find it incredibly inspiring to have girls that look up to me and also ask me questions. I've had multiple females that are trying to get into metal vocals themselves, and so they'll come to me for pointers. And I think that's a really cool, unique experience to being a female in a band and stuff.
What I like about your style of vocals, like because you're doing the black metal, the death metal type of the guttural vocals as well.
Yeah.
Like yours actually sounds like it's supposed to sound. Like I've heard so many of these newer bands that they'll do it. It all sounds like they just learned it off of YouTube. Like it's like some technique, and they all sound the same. And it's like, whereas like obviously I'm old school. I love to hear the old school Bathory style or the Mayhems and all those bands, and you got that going for you, which is good, and especially being young and being as young as you guys are as far as the band goes as well. And what about your turnouts? Like, what is your crowd size like? I mean, obviously, it took a while to build up a following, but compared to like when you guys first started, did you guys play to 2 or 3 people at first, then built it from there?
Our first show was pretty packed. Like we said, we played at the Catacombs, and that was a pretty well-known venue. And
100.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Probably like 50 to 100 people at that one.
Nice.
That was our first show. It was nerve-wracking, but it paid off.
I bet.
We'll play from like 100 people to then we'll have like a crowd where the crowd is like the rest of the bands.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What's the biggest crowd you played to? You think?
100 or a little over 100.
Okay.
I would say
Blackstrap was pretty big.
Yeah,
Blackstrap and
Utility Works.
Utility Works,
Utility Works
festival I just mentioned. We were the first band to play. We opened at 12 p.m.
120 degrees outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had to cover our amps with cardboard so they wouldn't overheat.
Yeah, it was crazy. It gets hot like that in Atlanta. It was crazy.
I threw up right after the set because I was wearing corpse paint, and it was heat inside my skull, and so I was
extra.
So let me ask you, on your very first gig, did you guys already have your image, or was that something that kind of came later, or did you feel comfortable on stage? Did you guys sort of kind of know what you were going to do on your first show, like as far as how you're going to perform? And
it's been the same since day one, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Once you're on your first show, it's like you hop up on stage. It's nerve wracking, and that first song starts. And it's like it's over.
Yeah.
You just you blink through it, and you just get in this.
Getting a whole different mind frame. It's like the magic just takes over. It's like
exactly. And I mean that goes for any show really. After that, it was just stuck to what we're doing.
You strike the first note, you blink, and then all of a sudden, like
shaky, turn on, plug it up.
And all of a sudden you're like covered in vomit and beer, and you're like, what just happened?
A lot of people that don't really perform or play music, they don't understand, like, well, maybe they do, but that just what it feels like to be on stage. It's a whole different beast, and it's just like it's almost like a superpower. Like
Oh, yes.
You ever notice, like, when you tell people you play a certain instrument, they're like, "Oh my god, that's great!" Or like as if you're just like you got a superpower that they never heard of or can never get.
People view it as like some unobtainable thing, but you really just go out there and do it.
You do.
You just gotta go out there and do it.
And people will say they're too old to learn an instrument, or my hands are too small to play guitar, or whatever, this and that. And it's like, no, like if you want to do it. Because even when you learn an instrument, it, creates these new like neural pathways in your brain that essentially make, I'm going to say make you smarter, but build your memory and different things like that, and your cognitive
100%. Yeah, no, playing an instrument definitely helps you through like your mental.
It does. Yeah.
Mental, and also building dexterity and hand-eye coordination. And just different. It's a little workout, and so as long as you have that passion in you, you should definitely go for it, whether you're, old, young, skinny, fat, small hands, big hands, chick, guy, whatever.
I get all the time. People be like, well, I want to play, but I suck. I go, you got to suck before you get good. It's just how it is. No one wakes up and like all of a sudden they're virtuoso. I mean, there have been some like some of those kids that are like your prodigies or whatever. like 5 years old and on the piano playing fucking all this crazy shit on the piano. It's like, okay, that happens every now and then, but for the most part, you got to suck before you can get good,
Right.
At one point, you were the worst musician in the world.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
You gotta be better than you were yesterday. Suck better than you did yesterday. You gotta suck a little less than you did yesterday. That's the key. Just keep doing it, and
Yeah. No, it's awesome. It's awesome. But I tell people, like people who try to learn guitar or whatever, and they fall out of it, and they're like, "Oh, it just never worked out." It's like, well, listening to music, it can be just as good as playing it. You just have to find out what kind of person you are. If you are the player, or if you're the listener, and there's nothing wrong with being either, because they're both amazing things.
Plus, us as musicians, we need all the listeners we can. So if everybody became musicians, then we'd have nobody to play to.
Exactly.
As far as fans go,
For sure, yeah. Music is a gift.
Yeah. Well, guys, this has been fun. It's been great. Been enlightening. I just love the aspect that you guys are just like, you're real musicians. You're out there doing that shit. The young generation, as they say.
Yeah.
People tell me like, oh man, there's no more youth in rock and metal and stuff like that. Dude, come on.
No, we're out there. You just gotta look.
Gotta dig a little.
Good parenting. You guys have obviously good parents that
for sure.
steering you in the right directions, because back in my day, our parents would say, "You can't play guitar. You get a regular job." It's like, you go nowhere. But you know what? You're gonna have those people that's gonna tell you can't do it. You're not gonna go anywhere. You'll never make it. You just gotta fucking be like go straight through that shit like a. Because only you can tell yourself that you can't make it, and
100%.
And don't ever do that. Just keep telling yourself, because a lot of it's like expectations. Sometimes people get so much expectation, they think like, well, because I did this, now this is going to happen. You got to be patient. It's going to happen when it happens. You guys are going to, and I could tell. I mean, like I said, I'm doing this as far as part of my channel, whatever, like Metal Rising, because to put the spotlight on bands that I feel like people should check out, that I feel like I see something in them to where this ain't the last you're gonna hear of them. Like you guys, like I just by talking to you guys, I could tell you guys have it. You guys have that factor.
Thank you. We're here to stay. We're here to stay.
You're here to stay.
But
and then the progression, just to watch you from where you are now, and then 2 years from now to hear what you're doing musically, it's just going to be amazing to see that journey. And
for sure, we'd love to come back after like we get an album out.
Definitely.
And maybe
you guys are definitely welcome back, and especially when you got something you guys want to promote, get going on. And just for the people that are watching this, I'm going to put in the description like you guys' links to where to find your music, and put your Instagram on there, the two with the 2 on there.
Number 2.
And hopefully you guys get that other one back.
Hopefully.
But just just keep doing what you're doing. That's all you can do, and just
absolutely. And thank you so much for inviting us and having us.
Your interest in us. And
You're a very good, engaging communicator and interviewer. That's really awesome. Yeah.
Thank you. I look up to my guys like Howard Stern, Eddie Trunk,
That's funny. I see it now with the glasses and the jacket. That's so funny.
And I just started doing this recently. I got, like I said, I'm in between, like, recording new songs. I think, like while I'm doing it, like I got to do something creative, something fun. So like, let me just represent bands and represent music. I mean, it's in my life. And I mean, like I said, I started at 16 years old. And that's all I ever known, other than the drugs and the alcohol, which got that out of my way. You know?
Yeah.
So you guys don't get crazy on that. I don't know if you guys do that now, but obviously you don't want to if your parents are watching or whatever. But be careful, you know.
No, say no to drugs.
Don't be burnt out and turned out. But you know.
Yeah, remember Nil Per Os to drugs. Nothing. Nothing
in your mouth. That's a good slogan right there for the. That's better than that. Don't say or just say no.
We're gonna have our next show. We're gonna have Nil Per Os a Dare T-shirts. So.
Oh, nice! Yeah.
We're gonna have Nil Per Os Nil Per condoms.
Right. You guys are like totally straight edge.
Nil Per finch strips.
You guys might become nuns. You guys might as well be nuns.
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you for having us.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
We're gonna be horns up and peace out.
Oh yeah.
Nil Per Os.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Hit the little pause button there.